Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Ultimate Nightmares run, where we take the characters that are hardest to beat on the new Nightmare mode, as chosen by you, and try to win with them. Today we're playing the Old, which I have already played in Nightmare mode, but not since the new enemies were introduced, and I believe that the Old is one of the characters that has the hardest time with a lot of the new enemies, because on the smaller map, it's correspondingly more difficult to fight them. With the Old, you usually just want extreme damage output, so I think that the easiest way to play the character is to use revolvers and go for a gun build. But for this run, because I've already done a gun build with the Old, I'm going to use Icicle. It's a very similar style of weapon in that it's just about overwhelming damage to kill enemies before they get close to you. But just a fun, powerful weapon that I like an excuse to use, so that's what we're doing today. Try to damage that tree, make sure I'm lining up the enemies so my attacks are hitting multiple in order to maximize my income there. Here, I'm going to take attack speed, I'm going to take harvesting, I'm going to take elemental damage. Those are the stats that we're looking for, so we'll just take the 5 attack speed. We'll ban lens. Ugly Tooth is pretty good for this character. Since enemies are already slowed, Ugly Tooth making them slower is actually pretty useful. We have to ban Butterfly because it reduces our elemental damage. Lumberjack Shirt. I like Lumberjack Shirt for this character, but I'm not going to lock it here. I really want to lock good economy items, so we're going to keep rolling. We'll buy the Icicle. I'm going to ban Corrupted Shard, and I could just ban Sharp Bullet. This character, or this weapon, already has piercing shots. You don't really want to decrease the amount of damage that your piercing shots do on a weapon that has them already. If we find Pumpkin, the Sharp Bullet will be good, because it can offset the penalty, but if we don't find the Pumpkin, then that could be a problem. So I think I'm just going to ban it here just to make better level 1 items show up. Propeller Hat I think is worth locking, and then I will roll a couple more times, and we'll lock an Icicle. And kind of a funny shop where we just banned 7 items in the first shop. Not usual, but we found 4 weapons, we found a decent economy item, so I'm still pretty happy with it. Also, having banned 7 items obviously improves the pool of items to draw from in the future. Trying to pick up as many materials as possible here. And we'll just take the elemental damage, and then here I'm going to take 10 luck. We'll buy an Icicle. Ugly Tooth showing up for the 3rd time is pretty funny. Take the Icicle, and then I will roll and lock another Icicle. Charcoal is good, it gives elemental damage, but I don't think it's worth locking here. But because I have an economy item and a weapon locked already, I'm not going to just re-roll 2 slots, because we can't find another Icicle. I mean, we could find a level 2, technically, but the likelihood of that is low. I think that Crash Zone is probably the harder of the 2 maps for this weapon, because Wave 16 with the enhanced flies is really challenging on this small map. With a ranged weapon, so I do think that that's going to be a pretty significant challenge for this run. I'll take 6 speed because it's a level 2 upgrade. It's not a stat that I'm highly prioritizing, but we do want to fix our move speed. So nice to find a level 2 Icicle there. This is a weapon that is both very desirable to level up because it just levels really well. You get increased crit damage at later levels. All right, now we'll lock the Ugly Tooth so the dang thing can stop showing up once I buy it. That's the 4th time it's shown up. That's really funny. But Icicle's a weapon that you want to level, but it's also a weapon that's kind of hard to level. It has a medium price point, so it's not like one of the ones that you can buy for cheap and reroll a lot. And it belongs to 2 pretty large weapon categories, both Precise and Elemental, have a lot of other weapons that you can roll. And while you can mix it with other weapons, I tend to prefer just Icicles, because the fact that it has 2 good weapon categories just really helps the weapon out, so I don't like diluting those too much. I might take a Flamethrower or something like that if one appears, but mostly we're just looking for more Icicles. All right, we'll take Lumberjack Shirt here as well, and a level 2 Icicle. Finding 2 level 2 Icicles is amazing. The weapon levels are so important, like I mentioned. on this character, you're going to end up losing out on income by the mid-game, because while you start with some harvesting, you have reduced enemy spawns, and that is probably the most impactful stat, other than reduced material drops, on your income that a character can have. So either we find more enemy spawn increases, or we find a ton of harvesting, or we just have to play a fairly low economy run on this character. I'm gonna reroll here, and I'll reroll again. 10% attack speed, so important as well. And then we get to go up to all level, or 4 level 4 icicles. Wow, what a find there as well. Okay, so I'm gonna lock this. I think I'm just buying the icicle here, and then I'm gonna reroll, because this is wave 5, we're still guaranteed a weapon, so I could find another weapon level. And then, of course, coffee is probably the best level 1 item for us. The advantage of having banned 7 level 1 items is we're more likely to find coffee, we're more likely to find gentle alien, we're more likely to find a bunch of elemental damage, because both boiling water and toxic sludge give +2. The summons shouldn't be that big a deal as long as my damage is keeping up reasonably well with the wave on Crash Zone. I'm much more worried about the flies. But hopefully we get enough damage output that we can one-shot the flies later on. I also currently have very, very poor defensive stats, so that's something to be aware of. I did get the loot alien there, but had to give up the tree kill. We get 2% damage from the pearl, but an early pearl like this has an okay chance of actually giving us additional ones. I'm going to take 6 move speed there, because it's a level 2 upgrade. We'll buy these. While I do want percent damage, attack speed is so important to Icicle, I'm not going to buy the missile. This weapon attacks really slowly by default, so you really need to focus on attack speed with it. I will take Sad Tomato. It's a lot of regeneration. Starting at half health mostly doesn't matter, and we'll take Weird Ghost as well, because my HP is very low. The old mostly wants to focus on pure damage. You don't care that much about defenses, but on Nightmare mode, you always need some, because it can be pretty hard to avoid taking any hits. There will be elite waves where you have to kill the elite alongside other high health Nightmare mode enemies. And with the environmental projectiles, especially because I am playing on full projectile mode, you will often walk into attacks just kind of incidentally and need some healing at least. You can see our income is still okay right now, but it is going to start falling behind pretty quickly. Normally on most characters I would roll for armor here, but on the old I'm just going to take 15% with this weapon. I'm just going to take 15% attack speed. Sunken Bell, it's an okay panic button. On the other hand, I can just get 7 materials by banning it here, and I think that's fine. I just want to take the reroll. Starfish is a good way for us to fix our economy, and then I will buy all of these items as well. Frozen Heart is incredible on Icicle, because there's no guarantee that you use burning damage at all, so it just increases your damage multiplier and gives you extra crit chance and elemental damage. So one of the best items I could find. Now Starfish does put us in a lot of danger, because I think I don't get one shot this wave if I take a hit, but I probably come pretty close. We have very low armor. These are all high damage enemies. And they're doing extra damage because of the Starfish. So with only 21 health, I am pretty nervous about this wave, even though we've healed up from the Sad Tomato at least. But I think with 21 we don't die if I take damage here. Let's just not find out though. Awkward dodging there cost me leaving a bunch of materials on the ground. I will take the small magazine. Obviously, we don't use the ranged damage, but the attack speed is still super important. We'll take Tyler. We're building a lot of elemental damage, and Tyler covers a pretty significant portion of the map. structures are better in that way for this character. I'm going to take the Frozen Heart because I'm feeling like my damage output is a little low. So normally you would take Lucky Charm, of course, because it's an economy item. Typically you want to take economy items before other items, so they have the longest time period to give you value. But because I was kind of struggling to kill stuff last wave, I wanted to make sure that we had the chance to, and Frozen Heart increases my weapon damage so much that I just wanted to buy it there. We'll also make more money this wave because of improved clear speed. Alright, took a hit there. We didn't die, but definitely closer than you would normally like, of course. You can see that we aren't having that much trouble dealing with the summons. I had to run off there in case I took another hit. But the high health enemies are what's really kind of getting me here. I'm going to take 2 armor so that we aren't in danger of just getting popped again. And then while I would love to take 10 harvesting here, my max HP is so terrible, I'm just going to pick that up. We'll take the Lucky Charm. Baby Elephant is actually kind of close when we have 58 luck already. And I do need more damage output. You will get a little less value out of it on the old because there's fewer enemies to drop materials. I think I'll take it here. I will buy all of these items for sure, and then we'll roll again, and we'll lock a banner. Padding is good health, so I'll take that, and we'll lock plant as well. Banner's very nice because the range is actually relevant for this character and for this weapon. Range is better on the old in general because the same amount of range is a larger percentage of the map and thus a larger percentage of the possible enemies. Still not a very important stat for the character, of course, but a little more impactful for the amount that you spend on it. The Tyler's doing very well for us, and it's hard to tell how our baby elephant is doing. We're picking up a lot of materials, and it's triggering pretty frequently. So I think it is lowering enemy health, at least enough that the Tyler can get the occasional kill. So I think it is a relevant contributor here. Losing 3 armor, but I go up to 16 dodge, and we get additional dodge later on, additional dodge cap potentially. On a low economy run, though, I don't think we're that likely to build dodge. We're also going into an elite wave, so I really want the money just to get more damage. So here we're going to recycle the ghost outfit. I'm going to take 2 armor over 4 regeneration again, just so that I don't get one shot, and then we'll take 3 elemental damage to try to kill the elite a little faster. By the acid here and roll, we'll take an icicle. Alien Tongue definitely better for this character as well, because the same amount of pickup radius, again, means more of the map is covered. So I'll take that there, and we'll buy an eye surgery, and then eye patch. This is a good way to buy piercing shots for the icicle, much better than sharp bullet, because it doesn't decrease your pierce damage, and it relies on crit chance, a stat you already want to build, because icicle at level 3 and higher has increased critical damage. Trying to pull the elite on top of the Tyler there, though I did walk into some attacks. I need to be pretty careful about the enhanced shooters this wave. They're really, really dangerous. But on the old, you really want to alpha strike down the elites with very little space to dodge. It can be challenging to avoid taking hits from them. So that was an okay elite fight, but we are going to need more damage output. I am not thrilled by how long that took for us to kill the elite there, and we definitely need to improve that for our next elite fight, which I think is wave 14, which obviously on Crash Zone is always a tremendous danger. a little easier for the old, typically, because the summons can't get as far away from you, but still really scary. Night Goggles will definitely take. Losing an armor, of course, is bad. Losing 3 HP is better than it was, but still bad. But crit chance, incredible for this weapon, and 50 range, again, very relevant here. Improved tools is great. We'll take 2 more armor, and then we're going to buy all of these items. Okay, wave 15 elite, also pretty challenging. Fuel tank we'll take for sure. Medical turret, I don't think I really need. I think I'm going to reroll this. Bloody Hand is actually pretty good here. We have enough regeneration to support it. It's a massive amount of percent damage and also a massive amount of healing. So we're thrilled to see that. The early starfish is definitely the star, as it were, of this run. Just giving us a ton of income. The Frozen Heart, also a very important item. Increasing my damage ratio, the multiplier on our purchase damage to our weapon damage, is really good. Just makes each point of elemental damage that much better. And then elemental damage and crit chance, both incredible items for us. Or stats for us. All right. Goblet. Yeah, I'll take the goblet. We should have enough. Enemies will always be close to you when you're playing the old, so we should get enough value there. I could buy handcuffs. So I'm buying these 2 items. I think I will lock the handcuffs. 8 elemental damage, of course, is great. 50 HP is a little low, but we should be able to pick up maybe an HP level up or another HP item. Okay, we'll buy stone skin and then we'll buy handcuffs, and that'll be plenty. So, great find there. Now, I do want more regeneration right now because our damage is actually high enough per shot that we're not getting a ton of lifesteal. So, that's making the Bloody Hand a little bit harder to sustain. So, we need more healing. And as always, or as I mentioned at the beginning, the wave that I'm really scared of is wave 16. And the way that we're going to be able to survive wave 16 is just by getting our icicles to the point where they are killing the flies in 1 to 2 shots at most, to minimize the number of projectiles that they can produce before we kill them. If you can outscale them significantly, then you don't have to deal with as many shots. Snail, I'll take. It just makes enemies slower, which is great. Do I want 10 attack speed or 20 luck? I do have a pearl, so this is also 2 damage. I think I'll take the level 4 upgrade. It's not totally clear if that is the best way to do it, but I think it is. I'm going to take the handcuffs here. 63 HP cap is fine. Small fish, I do want to be one-shotting the flies, so I'm going to take the small fish. And then we could get a bunch of engineering. We don't really have a use for it currently with the Strange Book. So I think I'm going to pass on that. It would be kind of fun if I found a Pocket Factory, but even then, it's just not actually that much damage, even if we get, like, 30 engineering. I guess we have the Tyler, which scales off of engineering, but buying the Strange Book just for slight damage increase on the Tyler, which we're getting good damage on by buying elemental damage anyways. Doesn't seem super valuable. Icicle is definitely one of the strongest weapons in the game. There is, I think, no character where... Oh, I actually didn't mean to get the curse there, because this is Crash Zone. But the curse alien sort of spawned on top of me, so I killed it before I could react. But as I was saying, I think there is no character where Icicle is a starting weapon, and it's not one of the best weapons for the character. We'll take the Ritual here. We'll take fresh meat. Of course, we want more lifesteal to go with our bloody hand. And then here, I'm going to take the 3 regeneration just to make the bloody hand a little easier to support. Medkit is great. That fixes our bloody hand problem. And then we'll take the icicle and we'll take the mutation, reroll, and we'll buy another pearl. It's 7 damage, which is for 160 fine kind of on its own. And then also the more pearls you have, the more likely you are to get more of them. This enemy, a little bit challenging for sure, because we have to chase it down. And that means that... and it also puts, shields in the way. Has a layer of ablative meat in between us and it. But while you're chasing that elite, you're not killing the enhanced eggs. You're not killing the summons as they spawn. It's a little easier for the old, but that is a tough elite to roll on wave 15. So glad that we got a clean fight against it. Yeah, 10 more elemental damage. Of course, that's amazing. And then I'm going to take the 3 armor here. That gives me more HP over cap, thanks to the stone skin, but mostly it just gives me more armor. Treasure map this late is not always amazing, but I think it'll still pay for itself. And we'll take the icicle here, and we'll take a ritual and a fresh meat. Again, want to increase my lifesteal, of course. I'm trying to think how many Tylers I would need before I thought it was good to buy the Strange Book there. Probably just 1 more would have made Strange Book fine. 2 more, definitely the Strange Book would have been good. Or if I had taken, a random bottom mine or something. Have a thunderstorm rolling in here. Okay, you can see we got the big wave of enhanced flies at the end, but this is not so bad because we've gotten our damage high enough that each of them is only releasing 2 projectiles. And so it's just not that much for us to dodge. So the plan has come together perfectly for wave 16. Yeah, we have a big thunderstorm rolling in here again, which is funny because we had a tornado here earlier. Nobody, as far as I know, got hurt or lost any property, but unusual for this part of the world at this time of year. The decomposing flesh I will take. We can't use any more max HP, of course, and we do have bloody hand, so every point of lifesteal is amazing. I'll take the fairy. It's just plus 6 regen, but plus 6 regen is still useful, and then hedgehog is even regeneration. We lose 1 in game 1 from fairy, so we'll just take the money, take the weird food here, and then we'll take 3 armor. I'm gonna buy out this whole shop. But I can't quite afford to buy all of it, so let's do it this way. Do I want the fireball? Fireball is an okay burning weapon. We do have double eye surgery, but also we have Frozen Heart, which makes our burning significantly worse, even with the eye surgery. I think I'll pass on the fireball and just stick with high crit chance and high damage from our icicles. I don't think we need fruit basket, so I think we're just buying this stuff. We should be able to kill this elite really fast. I'm gonna try to run it back down towards the Tyler, but it did kind of go on an awkward path there. But we killed it in 10 seconds anyways. I'm really curious how the baby elephant will have done. We ended up with a lot of luck. We have increased material drops from the starfish, so that helped as well. All right, the exoskeleton, we lose 5 regeneration, but it's still worth picking up. It's just really good. I'll take a bag, it'll pay for itself. We'll take a pencil as well. Take the attack speed, we'll buy all of these items and roll. And then we still don't have a way to apply fire, so fried rice I'm just not that interested in. I could have picked up some fire at various points in this run, but it's not important to our plan. More elemental damage is, though. I don't think we'll get enough value off the barnacle in just a couple waves. I have 70 attack speed, so I don't think we want missile either. We'll take Ice Cube, though. That does increase our damage output. And then fixing my move speed with the Terrified Onion and getting some more regeneration, pretty important as well. So here's a story for all the old men in the audience, of which I know there are many. So we've been having a lot of trouble with the back deck on our house. It's been kind of rotting out for years, and we've been patching it, putting in new boards and stuff, or rather, our landlord has, because we rent. But finally, it has started collapsing and been really unsafe. So we got, he went in to tear the whole thing out, and it turns out that whoever had this house before he did built the back deck on top of the previous deck that had just rotted completely. So of course it was continuing to rot because it was built on an entirely rotten foundation. So some classic house flipper stuff there. Another good story for the yeah, that'll get you genre of stories. Wave 19 is typically pretty tough on Crash Zone, but our damage output is high enough that we're killing everything. The really important thing here is to make sure that we're clearing the buffing aliens. Because what'll kill you on this wave is just a critical mass of buffed enemies. Their speed gets increased, their health and damage get increased, so they become really hard to take down and can overwhelm you very fast with the enhanced buffers. Very important to keep on top of those. Bag won't have any time to do anything, so we'll recycle it. I'll just take 8% damage here. And then Jelly Shield, not bad for the last wave, typically, I think. I'm going to reroll other than that, though, and reroll again. We'll take a blindfold. Do I want just 3 more dodge? I don't think I care that much about it. Obviously, we're buying Whetstone. It gives us good healing and good damage. Then I'll roll here, and we can upgrade our icicles. This is only a very small damage increase, going from 2 3s to a 4 and a 2, but it is still a real damage increase. I would probably, given the choice, though, rather have bought the lantern, if I had known that that was showing up. Of course, we didn't know that was showing up, but this is still a relevant increase to our damage output. All right, let's go to wave 20 and see if we can kill the bosses quickly enough. Pull them on top of each other so our piercing shots are getting maximum value. Pull them on top of the Tyler so that the Tyler is getting to do the most damage possible. And then there go the elites. So pretty clean run with icicles. We ended up with just a really solid item set on the old. Obviously helped a lot by an early starfish. This was probably worth 2,000 materials. Let's look at our items here. We've got 275 saved on the coupon, so pretty good value on coupon there. We got it quite early. We never found a free pearl, but the 2 that we bought were still fine, because with 80 luck, they were 8 damage each, so they were still good. The starfish obviously was amazing. The Frozen Heart was amazing. Tyler dealt 333 damage, 33,000 damage. So that was pretty good. Not incredible, but pretty good overall. Our triple baby elephants for 30k damage. Now, some of those showed up later on, but that was a fine contribution. I think you could easily have not bought these as well. They were okay. Eye surgery did nothing because we never ended up with fire, but the elemental damage is good. The padding ended up pretty useless because we capped our HP, but obviously capping our HP was great as well with the handcuffs. 8 elemental damage, continuing to increase our damage output. We had plus 44 damage from Bloody Hand, 161 healing from Goblet, pretty nice there. And then anything else? 2 items from Treasure Map, so not an amazing Treasure Map, but not a terrible one either. 9k damage from Cyberball, 75 from Bag, so it pretty much doubled what we spent on it, and that's what I usually look for in an economy item. Cute Monkey didn't do that much, and we did block 11 projectiles in the last wave with the Jelly Shield. Alright, my friends, hope that you've enjoyed this run, and I hope if you have been struggling with the character, this gives you some ideas of how to beat it. Just build pure damage output to try to kill the enemies as quickly as possible. With the old is usually the easiest way. You don't want to have to try to dodge because you don't have a lot of space to do it, and they'll stack up quickly on top of you, but if you kill them fast, you don't have that problem. Alright, my friends, hope you enjoyed this run, and of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. It helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.